That's what I want to hear.
SSI is a very different ballgame from SSDI. It's not an insurance program where you get disabled and you get it. It's straight financial means program. It has an income test and a resource test, meaning that you have to maintain a certain level of resources to be on SSDI. I'm sorry, to be on SSI, and you have to keep your income below a certain number. So the resources you have to stay under are something like $2,000 a month. I believe it's give or take $10 or something. And the income that you have to maintain is below, I think in 2013 it's $980. So, and also SSI works a little different. If you're making $500, of your $980 allowable limit, they will reduce what you are receiving through SSI. SSI I think is maxed out at $795 right now. It varies depending on what your living situation is. So if you're making $500 of your $980, your $795 maximum will be reduced by some formula, and it's a pretty complicated formula, plus minus a whole bunch of stuff divided by 3. I don't know. They have weird. I don't know what it is. I'm not the math guy per se. Just make the arguments. So that being said, what can you do with SSI to work? Because SSI is specifically geared towards the fact that you can't work, you're low income, and this is why we're giving you the help. It's not even based on your past work history. Another thing that's very important about SSI, at least I think so, is the fact that you're automatically Medicaid eligible under SSI. So you don't have to recertify, you don't have to do a lot of stuff. For those of you that receive SSI, you know that your Medicaid stuff is very, very simple and clear, as opposed to where if you're not getting SSI and you need Medicaid, you have to recertify every year, and there's a whole bunch of hoopla that you have to go through. That's kind of the SSI story. What did I forget here? SSI does not have any trial period, like that generally. They have a trial period where they don't kick you off, but months where you make, if you're receiving SSI and you make $5,000 next month, you're not going to get booted off the program because they do have a trial period as well, but you're still not eligible to receive your monthly SSI amount. Whereas in SSDI, you would still be receiving your monthly amount. I mean, it's a nuance. It's not huge, but it will explain the part of trying to work. Now, what is the most important part of SSI in terms of work is what I think is the most important part is the incentive through the PASS plans. SSI has what's called PASS, which is Plan to Achieve Self-Success, Plan to Achieve Self-Support. And they also have Property Essential to Self-Support. So what do those two things mean? You can go to the SS Social Security office and say that I'm very interested in working. I have this big goal. I want to become an attorney, let's say. And this is how it's going to work. I'm going to go to education. I'm going to get loans. I need to buy a car. I'm going to have tuition, books, internships, blah, blah, blah. And it's a very lengthy application, the PASS plan that you have to fill out. And basically Social Security says, okay, great. So what do we let you do? They basically let you have unlimited income and unlimited resources during that time while you are pursuing your PASS plan goal. Generally, PASS plans time frames are 18 months. You can have more if you want. Law school is like 3 years, so they would probably give you 36 months. But what happens then? You need to buy a car. And you start working, and you're making $5,000 a month, and your bank account's swelled up to $30,000. You will still remain eligible for SSI if this is part of your PASS plan, because it's part of you trying to become self-sufficient. And the government is all about you becoming self-sufficient. So the $30,000 doesn't count, your income doesn't count, because it's all going towards this goal. Now, the point is, as you keep going through this plan, over the course of 5 years or whatever time frame you get approved for, when the plan's over and you've achieved it, goodbye SSI, you have to go to work. The truth is your PASS plan can fail, and you can still be left with the law degree and a van and remain on SSI. I mean, they're they're not gonna boot you if you can't do it. You know, they're just not gonna give you another pass plan, and then your car doesn't count anyway, so you can keep your car, but you can't go out, if you do get a legal job and go become an attorney and start making money, then you lose SSI. But it's not like, what I'm trying to say.
But you keep Medicare.
What was that?
But you can keep the Medicare.
The Medicaid and Medicare, well, I'll get to those in a second. What I'm trying to say is that if your pass plan fails, meaning at the end of it all, and you're an attorney, you're all this great stuff, but you can't work because you're disabled, and it all fell through at the end, that the big ticket item you went for of having a salary didn't work out, they're not gonna kick you off the program. They're gonna be like, oh, this is terrible, but it's okay, you can keep getting your SSI. But you can't go to work. If you did all that, you put all that effort in, and you wanna work, if you start making money, you understand what I'm saying. One second. I'll talk about the property essential in a second. The property essential to maintain self-support is a corollary of that program. If you have a business, or you have properties, rental properties, and you own like 15 cars or something like that, or you own like a whole bunch of really expensive property, you can request a property essential to achieve self-support plan, which allows you to keep certain things personally or in a business heading towards the goal of you working and getting off the SSI program. So it's very similar, it just kind of allows you to maintain, it's not like you can maintain 50 pieces of property. You're allowed to maintain an unlimited number of resources that are part of your business plan and are expected to be used within the next year. So if you happen to have, if you're selling shoes and you have $1 million worth of shoes, technically that would make you ineligible because you have $1 million of resources. But if they're part of a business plan and you plan to sell those shoes within 1 year, then you can still remain on the program. You know what I mean? As opposed to having 50 lots of property that are sitting around that are never really going to do anything for you or make you work. They would not approve such a plan where you can keep that kind of property in your name. Yeah, good. That's pretty much the whole story with SSI. If you start working with SSI, they'll pull it from you right away. Again, there's a similar type of procedure for getting back onto SSI. If you work and then you become disabled or you lose your job, they expedite you getting back onto SSI as well. It's a much faster process to get SSI than SSDI. You can probably do it in a few months, in less than a few months. So, they're all about encouraging you. Go to work, give it a try. Don't worry, even if you fail, you can come back. We'll always take you back. But even if you pay taxes for 6 months, we'll be more than thrilled. You know what I mean? As opposed to paying you money and you doing nothing. Getting to what I think is the most part of this talk, and I'll try not to take too much more time. Oh, there's my time. Wow. Okay, I got 10 minutes. Is that 10 minutes? Too much? 5 minutes? Yeah. Okay.
You're on a roll.
Okay. I didn't look up at that clock for a while. Medicaid.